Welcome to yet another lesson on phrases. Our last lesson focused on the function of the noun phrase. You can check that out via the link in the description if you missed it. Today we discuss the adjectival phrase, its structure and function. Give us a thumbs up if you like this content and be sure to share it as well. The adjectival phrase is a group of related words which is an extended form of an adjective. Usually, the adjectival phrase is a combination of an adverb and an adjective, where the adverb is the modifier and the adjective the head word. We have examples like very strong. In this combination, we have very as our adverb and strong as our adjective. Another example is so energetic. So is the adverb, energetic our adjective. It can as well be a combination of two or more adjectives. For instance, black, Chinese, wooden. This can simply be used to describe perhaps a box, a table, or any other noun. But the combination in this case is three adjectives, which are black, Chinese, and wooden. In both of these cases, an adjective is the head word, and that is why we call it an adjectival phrase. Besides these two structures, the prepositional phrase can also function as an adjectival phrase. To form a prepositional phrase, one has to simply add a preposition to a noun. Like in the examples, at the mall. The mall is a noun phrase. However, when we consider or add a preposition at to that noun phrase, we get a prepositional phrase. Another example is in the compound. The compound is a noun phrase. However, when we consider in as part of that phrase, it ceases to be a noun phrase and becomes a prepositional phrase. Another example is on the road. The road is a noun phrase. However, considering on as part of that phrase, it ceases to be a noun phrase and becomes a prepositional phrase. When a prepositional phrase functions as an adjectival phrase, it simply means that it is modifying a noun or pronoun in a sentence. And that's the whole idea of an adjectival phrase. Whether it's an adverb-adjective combination, or a two or more adjective combination, or a prepositional phrase. The function of the adjectival phrase, therefore, is that it modifies nouns or pronouns in sentences. In other words, they give additional information about nouns and pronouns. By so doing, they answer the questions which one, which kind, how many, or how much. Let's consider some examples in all the cases we've so far talked about. In our first example, we have the very unassuming boy won the contest. Our phrase in consideration is the very unassuming. It is an adjectival phrase because it answers the question which boy in relation to the sentence. Its function, therefore, is that it modifies the noun boy in the sentence. Let's also take note that this adjectival phrase is a combination of an adverb, very, and an adjective, unassuming. Our second example is, the world's most hilarious comedian is from South Africa. The phrase for us to consider is, the world's most hilarious. This is an adjectival phrase because it answers the question, which comedian? Its function, therefore, is that it modifies the noun comedian in the sentence. We should also take note that the combination of this adjectival phrase is simply an adverb and an adjective. Our third example is, it has been a very joyous evening. The phrase for us to consider is a very joyous. We can say it is an adjectival phrase because it answers the question, what kind of evening? Its function is simply that it modifies the noun evening in the sentence. The combination of this adjectival phrase is simply an adverb and an adjective. More examples of adjectival phrases taking into consideration the second structure that we can have. Our first example is, the chaos at the market was caused by his arrival. In this sentence, what helps us to identify the particular kind of chaos? It is the phrase, at the market. This is a prepositional phrase. However, since it is telling us the particular kind of chaos, it is acting as an adjective. Thus, it is an adjectival phrase modifying the noun chaos in the sentence. The car on the road is not for my father is our second example. What in the sentence identifies or tells us more about the car? It is the phrase on the road. That prepositional phrase, therefore, is acting as an adjectival phrase, modifying the noun car in that sentence. The man behind the house is homeless. Which man are we talking about? The man behind the house. The prepositional phrase behind the house helps us to identify who this man is. It is therefore functioning as an adjectival phrase by modifying the noun man. And lastly, we have the organization takes care of children without family. What kind of children? Children without family. The prepositional phrase without family modifies the noun children in this sentence. And please remember this. Anytime a prepositional phrase functions as an adjectival phrase, we no longer call it a prepositional phrase, but rather an adjectival phrase. The function of an adjectival phrase also always remains the same. It modifies a noun or a pronoun in a sentence. This is all there is to the adjectival phrase, but there's one more type of phrase for us to consider. Do click on the next lesson as we discuss the adverbial phrase. And don't forget, try your hands on this exercise also. See you